She's an inspiration because she's this wonderful, indomitable, invincible spirit. She goes through so much and she refuses to give up, and she goes through extraordinary loss and all sorts of real traumas of her work on the front. And she could have been very defeated by it, but she wasn't. She kept running in the race. She got up at the end of the war, and she became an activist, really. And instead of just giving up, she became this engaged person and ended up one of the leading pacifists of the 20th century. And at the heart of her work was this amazing book she wrote, Testament of Youth, which was her loving act of remembrance for those she'd lost. She was absolutely determined that we wouldn't forget them. And so she wrote this beautiful book, and here we are, 100 years later, still remembering the boys that she wrote about. And that's a testament, really, to the force of her feeling that she was determined that we shouldn't forget these young men, and that it should be a lesson at all costs, if ever possible, to avoid any man's inhumanity to man. And I suppose, yes, I think although obviously this is very much, everybody knows her as the memoir writer of the First World War, it's an elegy that's not just for the First World War, but for all lost youth in all wars. Well, we did feel very responsible because we know it's a beloved classic and loved by many thousands of readers over generations, so we really took care to distill it as faithfully as we could. But I think Vera's story comes through very clearly. She's got this extraordinarily clear journey from this, she's not spoilt, but very comfortable middle-class young woman who has dreams of Oxford. And then we go through this really quite extreme rites of passage story with her, where she goes from her comfortable home to Oxford, to then becoming a nurse on the front, and then having to return after the war to pick up the pieces of her life. And that kind of that journey of innocence to experience, going through the worst the world has to offer, but still coming out the other end fighting, has a very clear arc to it. So I think it's not a difficult story for people to engage in. Alicia Vikander is just stunning, who plays Vera. She really is the most amazing young actress, and I think people will find her very spellbinding. I know I've watched many cuts. I cannot take my eyes off her. She just transmits thoughts and emotions through her face so naturally, and she really captures the life force of Vera, so we're terribly excited about her. And then all the young men, Colin Morgan, Kit Harington, Taron Egerton, Jonathan Bailey, Henry Garrett, who plays Vera's eventual husband, they're all wonderful, very detailed, delicate actors who've come up with wonderfully emotionally authentic performances for this film.